Have you ever just stopped and wondered what really separates the good from the truly great? You know, we often get caught up in this idea that it's all about these huge, heroic efforts, some brilliant overnight flash of insight. But what if I told you the real secret to getting extraordinary results is, well, it's a lot quieter. It's much simpler. What if it really is just about the small, consistent act of showing up day in and day out?
You know, it's funny, this isn't some new age idea. The philosopher Aristotle figured this out more than 2,000 years ago. Excellence isn't something you do once in a while. It's something you become through repetition, through habit. And honestly, this single idea, it's the foundation for everything we're going to unpack today. It's the real difference between just making a fleeting attempt at something and creating a life-changing transformation.
And yet, if it's really that simple, why is it so incredibly hard? We've all been there, right? We start off with these huge ambitions. We're going to learn a new language, get in the best shape of our lives, build a business from scratch. But so often, that initial fire just fades. We end up abandoning our biggest goals, not because they're impossible, but because the path to getting there feels so slow and, frankly, unrewarding at the start.
So let's dive into the core principle that really governs success in almost every area of life. It's this idea of compounding. It is such a powerful concept. The idea that these small, daily actions don't just add up, they multiply. They create this almost unbelievable snowball effect over time.
Just think about it like putting a single dollar into a savings account. On day one, it feels like, well, like nothing. You check your balance and you don't see any real change. It's the same thing with doing one push-up or reading just one page of a book or writing one single line of code. The immediate result is almost invisible. And man, that can be so discouraging.
And visually, your first day's effort might look just like this tiny little sliver that feels like nothing compared to your huge goal. It's so easy to look at that tiny contribution and think, what's the point? This isn't making any difference at all. In this moment, right here, this exact moment of doubt, this is where most people give up.
But here is the secret. This is where the whole game changes. Those tiny little deposits, they aren't just adding up one by one. They are compounding. It's just like interest in a bank account. Each small effort you make builds on the one before it, creating this incredible momentum and exponential growth. The progress isn't a straight line. It's an explosion.
And then, after a year of just sticking with it, the result looks like this. And that huge, massive difference, that didn't come from one heroic all-night effort. Nope, it's the product of that one tiny, seemingly insignificant action just repeated day after day after day. This is the radical transformation that steady, intentional habits can create.
So the crucial point we have to understand is this. Consistency is not about being perfect. It's not about feeling inspired and motivated every single day. It's about building a routine, a system, and just sticking to it, especially on the days you really don't feel like it. It's a system that works no matter what your mood is.
And this isn't just some motivational fluff, by the way. There's real, hard science behind this. Every single time you repeat an action, you are literally strengthening the neural pathways in your brain that are associated with that behavior. Over time, that action requires less and less conscious effort until it just becomes automatic. You are literally building success into your brain's hardware.
But look, just understanding the math of compounding, that's not quite enough. You also need the right mindset. You need the engine that's going to drive this whole process forward. Because at the end of the day, you can't rely on fleeting feelings if you have long-term goals. You need something way, way more reliable.
I love how Rohn framed this. He said, "Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment." Just picture that for a second. Your goal is on one side of this giant canyon, and your accomplishment is on the other. Sure, a burst of motivation might get you to the edge to peek over, but it's discipline that builds the bridge, plank by plank, that actually gets you across.
And the difference between the two is just stark. Motivation is a feeling. It's like a roller coaster. It comes and goes. It's fantastic for a quick burst of energy, but it's a terrible strategy for the long haul. Discipline, on the other hand, that's a system. It's a commitment you make to yourself that delivers steady, reliable progress, whether you feel it like it or not.
But of course, let's be real. The journey is never a perfect straight line. Life happens, right? You'll get sick, work will get crazy, you'll miss a day. A setback can feel like a total failure, like it's completely derailed all of your progress. So, what do you do then? Do you just quit?
Well, the key here is to cultivate what the psychologist Dweck calls a growth mindset. It's a total game changer. Instead of seeing a missed day as a catastrophic failure, you see it as data. It's an opportunity to learn, to adjust your system. It's about forgiving yourself and getting back on track, not about guilt and quitting.
Okay, so this all makes sense in theory, right? But how do we actually put this into practice in our real busy lives? Let's break down the practical toolkit for building a system that makes consistency feel less like a struggle and more like second nature.
It really just comes down to 3 simple steps. First, you have to start small. And I mean ridiculously small. So small it feels almost too easy. Just commit to 5 minutes a day. That lowers the mental barrier to getting started. Second, you anchor it. Link your new habit to a solid existing routine you already do without thinking. Like, after I brush my teeth, I will meditate for 2 minutes. The old habit becomes the trigger for the new one. And third, track your progress. Get a calendar and just put an X on every day you do it. That visual chain becomes so powerful, you won't want to break it.
And now, here's a really powerful mental shift you can make. Instead of focusing on the outcome, like, I want to lose 20 pounds, focus on the identity. I am a healthy person. A healthy person makes healthy choices. Instead of, I want to write a book, it's, I am a writer. And what does a writer do? A writer writes every day. This simple change reframes the entire process from a chore into an expression of who you actually are.
And look, this isn't just us talking. This principle is the common thread you see among all the greats. Look at someone like Serena Williams. Her incredible success wasn't built on a few amazing matches. It was built on thousands upon thousands of hours of relentless, daily practice, showing up to that court even on the days she absolutely did not feel like it. From investing to sports to tech, the pattern is exactly the same. Consistency is the master key. So that brings us right back to you. We've talked about the theory, we've talked about the mindset, and we've talked about the tools. But now it's about making that very first deposit into the bank account of your future self. What is that next tiny little step?
And so we come back to the single most important idea of all. It's really the core message of books like The Compound Effect. Your life is not defined by a few dramatic, life-altering choices. It's shaped by the hundreds of small, smart, seemingly insignificant decisions you make every single day. That is what ultimately carves out your destiny. By the way, if you want to go deeper on this, we talk about it a lot more over on our Spotify podcast, getting into the real nitty-gritty of how these small choices play out.
So, I'll leave you with this one question, and I want you to really think about it. Forget about next year or even next month. Think about today, right now. What is the one small habit you can commit to right now that if you just keep showing up will compound into the success that you're looking for? The real power is always in that first step.